Hey, so I know it's been a while. I haven't posted any updated videos on where we're at with the Avid and the engine upgrade and Avionics upgrade. So today I'm going to kind of give you a rundown or a little walkthrough of where we're at and what I'm thinking of things thus far. And so first things first is the new Rotax 670 out of Rotax Rick, and it came painted beautifully. Everything was clean, well shipped. Really happy with the overall appearance of the motor. So he rebuilt the carbs, jetted them for what I needed, went through the gearbox, and did the whole 670 upgrade, kept my head, I believe, did the ceramic bearing replacement, and I believe the water pump upgrade. So as you can see, comes well painted, great looking little motor. This is the 670, so it does have the rave valves. I believe he makes a 582 with the rave valves, but I only think you get max HP out of that is going to be around, I want to say 87, 85, maybe a little less. Whereas the 670 at max RPM gives you 92. I also have my new pipe mounted. This was custom made for us. I gotta get his name for you, and I'll put a link in the descriptions where I got my pipe. But he basically asks what motor you got, what application it's going on, and you just kind of send him where your pipe or where you would like your pipe to be mounted to go back. And he did a real fantastic job mounting it up, creating the pipe. And this is the pipe that's going to get me the 92 horses out of that. I could have kept the stock pipe, but then you're kind of throttling yourself. With two strokes, you get a lot of your peak power out of your expansion pipe. And that's why we went with the new one to match the new motor. So what we're gonna have to do, what we had to do is we had to relocate where we mounted it just to get everything to line up just fine. But I think it came out really well. It's just kind of there now. I haven't safety wired in or glued it down. It's just there now just to show spacing to when I have to come back and add in our radiator. So on the 670, you need to add extra cooling. And there's a couple options out there. One is that big belly pan that goes across the bottom, which is fine and dandy. It does this job. I wanted something a little more aesthetically pleasing, so I went through, and this is I believe it's a 912 radiator, the Rotax 912 radiator. And what we're gonna do is, I got this idea, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna be mounting it up here, and we're cutting a hole in the cowling to fit it, and then build a pretty cool looking scoop to go and go around it. To give it, you know, make it look good and actually functional. So what we're doing is we made this bracketry. This bracketry we're not 100% sure we're keeping or not, but it's gonna mount like this to the bottom. Gotta remember I have my other radiator right here. It's gonna mount right here, and we're gonna have little tabs coming off of this point up to here to kind of give us the stationary non-movement in this direction. So with that there, like that, what we're gonna have to do is run extra radiator hosing to it and to feed it. So basically, I know this isn't very good without the extra radiators on there, but it's gonna come from our pump down and around into my main, over, feed my secondary, drop down over into this radiator, through it, and then back into it. The reason I'm going with that route is I wanted to have the least amount of force needed to push water. So basically I didn't want to have to feed it from my bottom to my tops and then have it drop back down. I wanted to feed it to the simple top, and then hopefully let gravity and that thing water does where it binds to itself, suck itself through and get it through the engine, and not to load that pump up too much. And it's going to be the shortest runs possible. Fun fact, when you gotta go buy 7/8 silicone hosing with 90s already put into it so you don't get kinking, that gets expensive. I found a pretty good company, HPS Performance, on the internet. I ordered up the wrong size to begin with, 5/8 instead of 7/8, and they were great about taking it back and getting me the right stuff to add it all up. So that came out really well. So this is the Rotax 670, and I'm rather excited to get this thing going and running. The 670 is a little thirstier when full power than the 582. So Rotax Rick recommends installing a backup fuel pump. This is just a mock one that I had laying around that I got my sizes where I'm going to mount it. The Fast fuel pump, which is a 1.5 to 4 pound PSI system, is going to be coming in next week. So that's going to come up here, feed my pulse pump, and then feed the carbs with the grand total of around 9 PSI to make sure you feed your engine when at full power. So the next fun and daunting task was also the avionics upgrade. I told you guys I was going to go with the Grand Rapids Sport EFIS with moving map and synthetic vision. They gave me a great deal. They're having a sale right now on the bonus of adding some packages into it to bring the price down. So that was a good spot. So further ado, here's the panel. Here's the new carbon fiber I just installed. I made this, installed it, buffed it out. Kind of really happy with that. Just got one line on it, but basically gonna have my master avionics and my fuel pump. Everything come on when I flip this. Over here is just ELT, trim, lighting. Right here I'm gonna install my iPad. It's gonna be on a swivel mount. I went with, I believe it's Guardian's. Yes, I was correct. It's Guardian's flush mount system, which on paper, real cool design, a real cool idea about being able to hide an iPad in here and it sticks and it's a flush mount to your panel. When you pay the 150 bucks and you get it, I'm not that impressed with the quality of it. It seems like it could have been made or sold cheaper, but it is certified, so that's probably where they're seeing the costs. But the problem with this on an Avid panel is it's massive. So to be able to mount this underneath where my top dash mounts, and then this nice pipe that runs right through here, I would have been hard pressed without having to hack this up or hack some things up real bad to get this to fit, and it would have been so on top of one another. I decided to go against it. So my simple solution was just get an iPad mount and swivel for Amazon for 12 bucks. Now I know my buddy Nick is gonna be upset that I went this route, but this is what it's gonna look like. Is I'm gonna have the main display here and just backup floor flight over here for mapping, easy touchscreen maneuverability and stuff along those lines. And I'm gonna be drilling a hole about here to let the USB cable pass through. I'm also gonna be mounting my radio right here. So it's gonna be a full panel, but not too clustered, I hope. I didn't go with a new radio due to the fact that they're really expensive. And this does everything I need to do, especially with these backups and all that good stuff. This radio lets me talk to the patterns in the pattern. I'm not flying to Bravo Charlie, so I didn't foresee the need to spend the 2-3 grand for a whole new radio system, ADSB out and stuff along those lines. So this is the new panel, or the new display here. It's pretty cool and intuitive. So you have it set up to where it's your just flight display, your tickers down the side, your heading, stuff like that. You can do your mapping with it, choose your headings with it. Also engine management system, which I installed. I'll show you that in a second. So all in all, it's a pretty cool little system. I really like it. Pretty easy to use, and pretty well laid out, I think, for what it is, and it does. It's going to do the job real well. So right now I have it hooked up, wired in, and it's running off an external GPS unit that I'm going to be mounting up there. So that's basically the panel. So since I'm keeping the ghetto radio, I'm going to also be keeping my ghetto intercom system. There we go. This is a 2-port intercom system, allows you to talk and hear your voice back. It's worked great. It's been mounted down there along with the radio and all the other crap that's been down here on the floor. What I'm going to be doing actually is mounting it back here. So when you get in, you just keep your plugs in, put a little bracket here, and have my headsets hang up here. So it'll be kind of tucked away back out the way. The wire will be running off your shoulder. won't be in the way. So that is going to be that upgrade for that. And then it's going to hopefully keep space management down here out of your way, because as all you Avid Flyers know, there is no room down here. When you're coming in on final and you're getting as slow as you can and you have someone with you and you move your stick all the way over there, everyone has to move their legs with it to keep you from not ground looping, or make sure you have all full authority while you have it. So that is the inside of the cockpit and what we're doing there. This was the fun part, the wiring. It was a little daunting at first because you have a million different wires and you need to go a million different places. But all in all, I think it's coming out well. It's not officially done yet. I still need to figure out how to tie in its outside air temperature to the one that my plane has, which is a 3-wire. Looks like it's a power ground and maybe a data. Need to confirm that. Different manufacturer for the probe. Also need to tie in my water sensor and all that good stuff. And this is going to be actually, this black wire is going to be a backup tachometer that runs off the coil itself. So I went with the EIS system from Grand Rapids, I believe it's a 2004 model, the 4-stroke edition. Reason I went with the 4-stroke edition because it has extra aux outputs, and the reason I wanted extra aux outputs was I wanted to install a water pressure sender and a fuel pressure sender, which are pretty vital on the Rotax. This mounting bracket came from Van's RV. They use it on their RVs. It's a pretty cool little design, so that's where that's gonna be wired up. This box right over here is, you need to supply power to these, but you don't supply the full 12 volts. It only requires 4.8 volts. And to get the proper reading for the pressure range you want, they require resistors. So how I fed it is basically EIS system coming in, and then this goes out to the senders or brings in a signal back, and to get the power, it's basically power coming in 4.8 volts bridged over to feed both, and the resistor through bridging to feed. So that's how that system works. So far it's been easy installation. The wiring has been fun. Daunting task, trying to make it look pretty, clean it up, and make it look professional with leaving slack, so when I do make a mistake, I have enough room to turn back. This is the fun side. This is where all the fuses are and stuff along those lines. So my plane came with, I believe it's a hot box. Good luck trying to find documentation on this thing. It seems to be pretty old technology, and I'm not even sure they're around, but it does your voltage regulating, your starting, stuff along those lines, outports, mag tacks, strobes, hobs, all that good stuff from the box. This is gonna be my remote fuse panel, which I'm gonna have, I believe is my fuel pump relay is gonna be ran off of that. My lighting, trim, all this good stuff is gonna be set on this fuse breaker box here. I'm keeping my voltage meter reader basically and USB ports, because what I'm going to be doing is pulling power from this to feed the iPad, and also power from this to feed my backup homemade ASB box. So there will be 2 different inputs for traffic and weather via ForeFlight and via Grand Rapids. So that's gonna be that layout. Last bit of fun I had when I had some downtime waiting for the parts to come in was I made up a carbon fiber new panel luggage area covering. This was fun to make, super easy. Just kind of made a mold of my old one and basically just copied it over. Carbon fiber. What we're going to be trying to do is make a carbon fiber turtle deck. That's gonna be pretty cool, because I'm not, the one I have now, turtle deck, you know, right there, it's good, does its job, just why not? So my hypothesis is what I'm gonna do is go down to TAP. They have this stuff right here. It's an acrylic plastic, I believe, and it's, I think I want to say $70 for a 4x8 sheet. And what my hypothesis is here is going to measure point to point, and pretend these are together, point to point, and then they're there, and get the angle with the straight line, and basically take this stuff
cut my square out, and then probably about, I don't know, 8-inch sheet. Gonna run down that angle, fill the gaps, and then lay the carbon in that. And this should give me a nice smooth surface, and then nothing sticks to this to pull it off. And then once I have the whole piece, I'll come back and make these little cover plates, and then go through, cut into it, make sure I get my bushings mounted and stuff along those lines. And that should give me a nice, strong, lightweight turtle deck. So I do have to hack up my lower cowling to fit the pipe, which I already put a hole in it for that to kind of get it lined up so we needed it, which is cool. And then we're gonna have to hack that up to do it. So what I'm gonna do is basically take the cowling, cut the holes in it, foam it up for this, cut my cowling into it, then I'm gonna lay carbon fiber over it, probably about 2 layers, pull it off, and then build up 3 to 5 layers inside of it to give me the thickness and strength that I'm gonna want. And same with the top deck. I'm gonna go with another carbon fiber top cowling as well. Just keep it all carbon fiber, keep it a little bit lighter. Weight is key in these planes. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm hoping this was informative for you guys. If you have any questions on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, feel free to ask them. A lot of you guys out there are building some awesome stuff. That D-Motive's coming out. TJ up there, he's building his new wings and stuff like that. So I'm glad everyone's getting out building stuff. This is taking me a little longer than I thought it would. Part delay and just lack of experience with some of this stuff. But it's coming together and I'm really excited. I'm hoping to get it running and flying probably within 2 to 3 weeks. I'm waiting on my dad to make me the brackets drop down, the hosing, stuff along those lines. But short of that, it's coming along really nicely and it's fun. I'm glad to see a lot of these people, a lot of the guys I'm following in the Avid community are getting out there and building their Avids and shooting me tons of great ideas. Thank you guys so much for all the great ideas. Those are helpful. That's where I got mounting radar up front, just look sharp. Help with the avionics, stuff like that. So that's right now. I'll try to be better on the update videos and kind of show where I'm going with it. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask and hit me up. Thanks.